Good morning, students. Today I am going to teach you on food fermentation techniques, which is under the course curriculum of UG Sem-III Honors and entitled and coded as MCB SSEC 001. This is the syllabus of the State University WebSoup. So here the MCB SSEC 001, which is food fermentation techniques, having a credit of 2 and marks total of 20, where 20 for the NSEM and 5 for the internal assessment. The syllabi is as such: Unit 1 consists of fermented foods, Unit 2 milk-based fermented foods, 3 grain-based fermented foods, 4 vegetable-based fermented foods, Unit 5 fermented meat and fish, and the last but not the least, the probiotic foods. These are some of the suggested readings that you can consult during your course curriculum. So first I will deal with the Unit 1, which is fermented foods, where the definition and the history of the fermented foods, the types and advantages and health benefits will be elaborately discussed. So first of all, let us know what is fermented food. So fermented food is none other than foods that is created through the controlled growth of the microorganisms. And why we actually get fermented foods? Because we need some healthy microbial population in our gut, and that will help us in our daily to day basis in good health status and good health maintenance. So why and how do we get fermented foods? First of all, we will take the substrate, which is a thing being fermented, and the live microbes, the bacteria and the yeast that grow on sugars and other nutrients in the substrate, and it will get the fermented food. That is, for example, if we take the milk along with the live microbes, we will get yogurt. If we take grapes along with the live microbes, we will get wine. And if we take flour with live microbes, we will get a sourdough bread. So these are the fermented food products that we will discuss in our later chapters. So there are two groups of fermented foods: those that do not contain live microbes when we consume them, and they are actually sourdough bread, tempeh, beer and wine, and chocolate. And some of the groups that do contain live microbes, they are yogurt, kefir, undercooked or uncooked sauerkraut, and traditional kimchi. So why we eat fermented foods? This is the main motto of our study, why we eat fermented foods: because to consume a food with a unique taste that lasts longer, for enhanced nutrition, to get some biologically active molecules, and to promote the health of our gut microbiota. So why eat fermented foods with live microbes? Because it increases the diversity of our gut microbiota and helps in different types of health benefits, which is under the prevalence of scientific health benefits. So they actually improve the lactose maldigestion, they improve more effective weight management system, they lower the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, and they also lower the chance of cardiovascular diseases. So these are some of the facts that actually deals with the fermented foods and the health benefits that we actually procure from the fermented food as well. So coming to the motto of fermentation, what actually fermentation is, as we are dealing with fermented food products. So fermentation is actually 4 types of fermentation: alcoholic fermentation that deals with the yeast and getting alcoholic beverages, lactic acid fermentation having lactic acid bacteria getting lactic acid, acetic acid fermentation having acetic acid bacteria having acetic acid, alkaline fermentation, mainly bacillus species are involved getting amino acids. So in a nutshell, again, we take a look on the health benefits of the fermented foods. 1, it provides a vast array of beneficial enzymes. 2, it provides optimum levels of vitamins, vitamin B, biotin, folic acid. 3, includes immune supporting short chain fatty acids. 4th, increases the bioavailability of the minerals we consume. And 5, supports our body's natural elimination of toxic elements. So coming to the next unit, that is the Unit 2, which is milk-based fermented foods, where we have to study the preparation of the inoculums, types of microorganisms, the production process, where we will deal with the production of the dahi, the yogurt and the buttermilk, which is also known as chaas, and cheese, along with the benefits. So first we will deal with the dahi. So dahi is none other than a fermented milk product which is actually typically made from the mixture of Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus acidophilus. There are so many lactobacillus bacteria that are involved in making of the dahi. So dahi do have a typical type of pH which is in between the 4.5 and 4.7, and the important constituents of the dahi are the water, the fat, the protein, lactose, lactic acid, calcium and phosphorus. So we daily take dahi in our dietary food habits. We are all aware of the fact that dahi is very important. Now we are going to know why dahi is so much important, how the microbial world is actually related to making of the dahi and benefits of dahi. So what are the starter cultures of the dahi? According to the BIS, the starter cultures is as follows: the Streptococcus lactis, the Streptococcus diastylactis, Streptococcus cremoris singly or in combination with or without leuconostoc species. Also, as above, along with species of lactobacillus such as Lactobacillus acidophilus, Lactobacillus bulgaricus, Lactobacillus casei and Streptococcus thermophilus, both of the strains are involved in making of the dahi. And the main compound which actually gives the aroma or the flavor of the dahi is the diacetyl compound. So let us see the production flow of the dahi, which is in your syllabus. So method of preparation in a flow chart: first we receive the milk, then the milk is preheated to 35 to 45 degrees centigrade. Now it is ready for filtration and clarification, and followed by standardization where the fat and the solid non-fat is being standardized in particular concentration. Fat from 0 to 5%, solid non-fat to 11 to 13%. Then preheating is again done at 60 degrees centigrade and followed by homogenization. The homogenization is done to actually make the mixture in an even population. So now again heat treatment of the 90 degrees centigrade for 10 minutes and cooling to 30 degrees centigrade. Then actually comes the addition of the starter culture to 1 to 1.5% and packaging and incubation to 30 degrees centigrade to 37 degrees centigrade for 6 to 8 hours actually makes a dahi. Now it can be cooled and stored below 5 degrees centigrade for making of packaging and dealing to the market value. So this is what about the dahi. So now we come to the yogurt, another fermented milk product which is a coagulated product obtained from pasteurized milk or boiled milk concentrated with skim milk, and fermentation is by lactic acid fermenting bacteria. Specifically, these two bacteria, the Lactobacillus bulgaricus and the Streptococcus thermophilus, yields the yogurt. So these are some of the pictures of the yogurt which is very familiar to all of you. Now, the microflora of the yogurt. There are 3 groups of microflora which we actually grouped as essential, the non-essential and some contaminants which are being found in preparation of the yogurt. So the essential or the starter culture is actually the Lactobacillus delbrueckii, subspecies bulgaricus and the Streptococcus thermophilus, and the non-essential one is the Lactobacillus acidophilus, Bifidobacterium bifidus, Lactococcus lactis, subspecies diastylactis and Pediococcus. And the contaminants can be found as yeast, molds, coliforms and other bacteria, and we have to take into account that this should not be present during our final product preparation. So the yogurt starter actually means a ratio, evenly ratio of the Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. So coming to the flow of making of the yogurt is, first of all, we need to start up with some stabilizers such as gelatin, the sweeteners such as sucrose, corn syrup solids, milk as non-fat dry condensed fat milk, and they have to mix, and the mixture is known as a yogurt mix, which is now being heated as a first step and then followed by pasteurization, which will be pumped and in a certain requisition of 190 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. Then homogenization procedure is done at 135 degree to 140 degrees Fahrenheit at 1500 psi in 2 stage and cool to 111 degree Fahrenheit. Next, the yogurt culture, which I have already mentioned, is mixed, and the ripening cone vats are prepared where they are held at 101 degree Fahrenheit for 4 hours until a pH of 3.9 is reached. Again, a holding of 90 degree Fahrenheit for 18 hours until a pH of 3.9 is reached is maintained. After that is cooled to 75 degree Fahrenheit and pumped through homogenizer For smooth texture, sugar fruit can be mixed for adding a flavor, and the mixture is now for the freezer, where it can be divided into two parts, can be kept as soft serve yogurt, can be packed as in hardened room, and can be made as hard pack yogurt. So this is the production of the yogurt, how we can make actually yogurt. So what are the health benefits of the yogurt? And we are very much familiar with taking up yogurt daily in our daily food basis for maintenance of our health. So why we actually take yogurt in our daily routine as a dietary supplement, such as they do have a very, very effective therapeutic role, that is they play a therapeutic role in maintenance of gastrointestinal disorders. They actually helps in digestion of lactose for the lactose intolerant people. They lower the cholesterol level. They are anti-carcinogenic and immunostimulatory as well. So these are the uses why we actually want yogurt in our food in a daily routine basis to maintain a healthy gut biota. Next, coming to cheese, which is another dairy-based food product. So cheese is the curd or substance formed by the coagulation of milk of certain mammals by rennet, and similar some enzymes which also involves the fermentation, which is lactic acid fermentation. And the cheese are being moistured and removed by cutting, warming and pressing, which has been shaped in mold and then ripened by holding for some time at certain temperatures and humidity. So let us come to the types of the cheese and examples of the cheese. So there are so many cheeses, and we are very, very much familiar with the word say cheese. So what cheese? Let us know. So they are soft cheese, camembert and feta, semi-soft cheese, Gouda and Port Chopped, hard cheese, Mimolette and Perolina, semi-hard cheese, cheddar, Cantal, fresh cheese, cottage cheese, mozzarella, blue cheese, Roquefort, Stilton, and processed cheese. So what are the microflora of different cheese? Let us see the cheese and the starter composition. The cheddar do have Streptococcus lactis, Cremoris, diacetyl lactis. The Gouda has Streptococcus lactis, Cremoris, diacetyl lactis, leuconostoc. The cottage has Streptococcus lactis, Cremoris, leuconostoc as well. Swiss has Streptococcus thermophilus, Lactococcus helveticus, Propionibacterium shamini. Brick has Streptococcus lactis, Cremoris, thermophilus, Brevibacterium lineus. Mozzarella has Streptococcus thermophilus, Ficalis, L. bulgaricus. Blue fatty cheese has lactis, Penicillium roqueforti. Camembert has lactis and Penicillium memberti. So now coming to the preparation of the cheese. First, the milk is taken and starter culture is added to the milk sample. Then addition of coagulant is done. So the coagulum formation, and the coagulum formation is ready for cutting, and the cut coagulum is ready for cooking. Then draining of the whey and kneading curds, salting of the curds give a presence of cheese, which is actually pressed under certain pressure and condition, and the cheese is now ready for the ripening. So coming to the different health benefits of the cheese. So cheese contains a lot of nutrients, calcium, proteins, phosphorus, zinc, vitamin A and vitamin B12. High quality protein and in cheese actually provides a very good health status and helps in building up of the muscles and strong muscles. And if anybody is lactose intolerant, he or she can take cheese as dietary supplement, and it will help in digestion, and it is a good food and helps provide different types of benefits to the people who actually consume the cheese. So next one is the buttermilk, which is also in your syllabus. So buttermilk is another fermented dairy milk product, which is actually the liquid left behind after churning butter out of the cultured cream. And the different microbiological microorganisms which are actually involved in making of the buttermilk is actually the Lactococcus lactis, Subspecies lactis, and Subspecies cremoris, Aromacultus leuconostoc subspecies. So the preparation of the buttermilk is first the milk is received, then the milk is actually preheated, and filtration and clarification is done. Again, boiling is done. After the boiling is made, then cooling is done. Then the addition of the previous day curd to the pre-cooled matter. It is incubated for 16 to 20 hours. So coagulation formed and cutting of the coagulum, and then separation of the butter, so the buttermilk or chas is ready. It can be packed for the market value as well. So what are the benefits of the buttermilk and why we are actually going to have buttermilk as a daily fermented food product, as a probiotic rich source as well? So it helps calm the stomach after a very spicy meal, helps in burning fats, aids in digestion, prevents dehydration, loaded with calcium, detoxifies the body, decreases blood pressure, loss weight, good for your skin, boost immune system, fight acidity, and eases constipation. So these are the facts why we are going to take the buttermilk, which is very much delicious for some of us. So this is a nutshell of how the food are being prepared, which are the food being prepared, how the preparation of the inoculum, how the types of the microorganism, and how the production process actually favors these types of dairy-made food farming products. Next, I'm going to teach you on the Unit 3, the grain-based fermented food products, where we will actually deal with the microorganism and the production process of the soy sauce, bread, idli, and dosa. So first of all, we will deal with soy sauce. All of us love to eat Chinese food, and soy sauce is known to every one of us. So soy sauce is nothing exceptional to us. So soy sauce is a very light brown and black liquid with a very meaty like salty flavor, which is being made in presence of the soybeans and wheat germs by a fermentation procedure where the involvement of the microorganism Aspergillus oryza and Aspergillus sozzi molds are involved. These are some pictorial depiction of the soy sauce. So how the process of the soy sauce, for making the soy sauce, we need the soya beans, the wheat chunks. So the soybeans are steamed, the wheats are roasted and crushed. So these steamed and roasted crushed soybeans and wheats are added to the koji mold spores onto the cooked ingredients. And then these koji is produced. After that, dissolved some salt in the water, and those salty water or salt solution as a step 2 fermentation process during 3 to 4 weeks is being added to the koji, and this is actually known as the moromi formation, which is actually the fermentation and the maturation of the soy sauce, and it is now being ready for the filtration. It is ready for the heat treatment and refining and inspection and bottling up. So this is the flow of the process for making up the soy sauce. Another flow is being done for your easy understanding. Soybean washing and soaking for 1 night, boiling, draining, fermentation 1, addition of the yeast to 3 to 5 days, fermentation 2 where salt solution is added, which I have depicted as koji formation, moromi formation, then the boiling, and the boiling 1 is done actually by addition of water, then filtration, separation of the oil cake after filtration. So we are getting the filtrate. The filtrate is boiled for concentration, and the filtration is the byproduct, which is the livestock, and the filtration product is the soy sauce. So next one is the bread. So we do have a very common picture in everyday morning. We take our breakfast. Usually all of us take bread and butter in a breakfast. So now we're dealing with the bread. So what we actually know as bread is food consisting of flour and meal that is moisture kneaded into dough and often fermented using yeast. The very most popular microorganism involved in making the bread is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, yeast, and lactic acid bacteria. So what is the flow of the bread making is actually, first of all, we need dry yeast, we need sodium chloride, we need water, we need wheat flour, we need sucrose and hydrogenated vegetable fat, which are actually mixed and cut, and they are rounded and modeled into different shapes, and they are ready for fermentation for 30 degrees centigrade in 90 minutes, and they are again heated for 100 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes, and the preparation of the bread is done. Next, coming to another fermented food product, which is actually idli. So idli is another very rich and famous food of the South India, and we all have to very pleasant taste in having idli in our breakfast, in our lunch, and we all very much acquainted in having idli as well. So it is an indigenous food product and made of savory rice cake originating from Indian subcontinent, and it involves the bacterial population of the Lactobacillus brevis, the Lactobacillus fermentum, Lactobacillus delbrueckii, Lactobacillus lactis, K. leuconostoc mesenteroids. So how this idli is processed, I am going to depict you in flow. First of all, white polished rice is taken, black gram is also taken. So both of them are separately washed, soaked for 5 to 10 hours. They are finely grounded and made a paste in a fine batter-like structure. These both of the batters are then mixed in a well concentration, and after the mixing of the thick batters, the addition of the salt in 1% weight by volume is mixed, and they are incubated overnight for fermentation at 30 to 32 degrees centigrade. And then the fermented batter is steamed for 98 degrees centigrade in an idli cooker for 10 to 20 minutes, and now the idli is ready for consumption. Now we can have this idli with sambar, we can have this idli with coconut chutney, and the pleasant sauces, whoever, whatever likes to eat with. Coming to the next fermented foods, which is also a very common food of the South India, is dosa. So dosa is another thin, crisp pancake of Indian origin, also made by rice flour stuffed with vegetables, can be stuffed with chicken, can stuffed with another ingredients. And the microflora here is leuconostoc mesenteroids, Streptococcus faecalis, Lactobacillus fermentum, Bacillus amyloliquefaciens. And the predominant thing is more or less same as idli, where the flow is also given as black gram dal taken, white polished rice is taken. Both of them are separately washed and soaked for 5 to 6 hours, and they are finely ground into a smooth batter. The batter are mixed, both the mixture is ready for mixing up salt, and they are leavened for fermentation overnight. Now preheat and apply a little oil on a pan, and then pour the batter and spread until the roast becomes brown, and your dosa is ready for packaging. So this is how the dosa is actually made. So these are some of the benefits here illustrated regarding the benefits of the soy food, regarding the benefits of the breads, regarding the benefits of the idli, regarding the benefits of the dosa. All the benefits are according to the health benefit status of our dietary status. So soy foods are mainly estrogenic and osteoprotective. The main applications of the soya foods are actually they helps in maintenance of the osteoporosis, prevents bone loss, helps in maintenance of the cholesterol levels, helps in making of good cholesterol, promotes cardiovascular health, relieves symptoms of menopause and PMS. They do have some supportive compounds which are actually the main ingredients that actually adapts to the health benefits, and they are isoflavones, mainly genistein, and polyunsaturated fatty acid and lecithin. So they actually promotes making of the good cholesterol, they actually promotes the balancing of the cholesterol, they promotes the balancing of the estrogen level and reduce the risk of the osteoporosis. So next, coming to the benefits of the bread, having a bread in our daily food, adding up some fiber to our health, adding up some calcium, adding up some folate, adding up some iron, and it is low in sugar and fat. Coming to the health benefits of the idli, idli is a very easy digestible food and flushed out easily. It has a high content of protein, vitamin and carbohydrates, and very easy to make as well. So what are the health benefits of the dosa? Dosa is a low calorie food, rich source of minerals, low in fat, high in proteins, easy to digest, good for heart, and it also decreases inflammation. So these are the food products which are mainly of the soya-based food products, the bread, the idli and the dosa. Next, coming to the unit 4, where I will deal with the microorganism and the production process of the pickles and sauerkraut. So India is very much famous and known as pickle nation, and we are all very much fond of having pickle in our food. So pickle is nothing rather than a very yummy, flavored, delicious finger-licking food. So pickle can be of different types. It can be of mango pickle, can be lemon pickle, can be garlic pickle, can be ginger pickle, can be Indian gooseberry pickle, and so many pickle can be there. And one of the very common pickle what we actually have in our daily life is the mango pickle, the lemon pickle, the garlic pickle, the ginger pickle. So the pickle is nothing another thing. It is a process of preserving food by anaerobic fermentation in brine to produce lactic acid or marinating and storing it is an acid solution using usually vinegar, which is acetic acid, and the resulting food is actually the pickle. So the microorganisms, Lactobacillus plantarum, L. brevis, Leuconostoc mesenteroids, Pediococcus cerevisiae. So how we can make pickle, and we are also familiar with making pickles by seeing our mothers or grandmothers. So how the pickle is being made is selection of vegetables and fruits for making pickle. They are washed, they are sized, they are cut in a cutter for making the permanent size. So brine solution is made having 10 to 12% salt, 1% glacial acetic acid and 100 ppm KMS. Then desalting and freshening of the total sample, and next followed by pickling where salt, vinegar, oil and combinations can be added up, and adding of the preservative, which is sulfur dioxide in 100 ppm, and packing and stored at ambient temperature, so your pickle is actually made. So this is the flow chart of the pickling process from fruits and vegetables that we can made in a home as well as in the industry. So coming to another fermented pickle, which is a sauerkraut. So it is a very common food of the Germany, and sauerkraut is also finely cut raw cabbage that has been fermented with various lactic acid bacteria, and it has a long shelf life and a distinctive sour flavor, and the involvement of the cabbage leaves and bacteria fermenting these type of food products are Leuconostoc mesenteroid, Lactobacillus brevis, Pediococcus pentosaceus, Lactobacillus plantarum. So you are looking at the pictures, shredded cabbage. The cabbage is being shredded, and the steps where the salt is being added, the cabbage is being desalted, and the cabbage is quenched and making up. So coming to the flow of the chart. So selection of the fresh cabbage heads. The heads of the cabbages are cleaned. The central core and the outer leaves are removed. So shredding and shorting of the cabbage is done in a percentage of 0.7 to 2.5% in April. Then proceed to the fermentation process, which can be spontaneous or induced. So starter cultures are added, which can be optional as well, and addition of other vegetables, wine or spices, which are adapts to this, and additives can be also optional. And the sauerkraut is ready for packaging, and it can be pasteurized and then stored and can be marketed as well, or can be preserved in the house for daily spread in butter, in bread, along with your daily foods. So this is sauerkraut. So coming to the different benefits of the pickles and the sauerkraut is the health benefits of the pickle are actually it contains antioxidants, fights with the free radicals, vital minerals are there, reduces sugar levels, improves liver health, helps in pregnancy, builds immunity, improves digestion, muscle cramps, prevents ulcers and prevents digestive problems. Coming to the health benefits of the sauerkraut, contains powerful nutrients. Sauerkraut is a very good source of fiber, vitamin C. So the benefits of the sauerkraut. Sauerkraut contains a powerful nutrients, and it is a very good source of fiber, vitamin C, and important vitamins and minerals. Good for our gut. The fermentation process of creating sauerkraut produces probiotics or beneficial live bacteria that supports a healthy gut microbiome. It may also boost our immune system because vitamin C and probiotics, they are very much in boosting up our immune system. Supports a healthy weight management, so we can have a very weight management system having a good sauerkraut, taking up sauerkraut in our daily diet. It supports the healthy brain and mood functioning. Research shows that having a healthy gut microbiome may protect against disorders like Alzheimer's and depression. So next is unit 5, which is types, microorganisms involved, fermented process of the meats and fish. So what is fermented meat product? A fermented meat product is mainly sausages. These sausages are actually fermented by the lactic acid bacteria, and they are actually made up by minced meat mixed with fat, salt, and cured with agents like nitrate and nitrate, sugar, and spices. And the different components are mixed for the flavor enhancement, and the microorganisms which are actually involved in making of the meat products and fermented meat products are Staphylococci family, Lactobacilli family, Micrococci family, yeast, and molds. So what are the steps in making up the fermented meat products? So raw meats and fats are taken, they are comminuted and homogenized along parallelly with addition of some ingredients which are chopped and pre-blended and mixed and emulsified. So the total stuffing is now ready for having a casing system. So stuffed into a casing, and they are smoked and ready for fermentation. Smoking is also optional. One can do it or can also remove it. So fermentation followed by cooking and chilling. So cooked sausage after chilling can also be get, and chilling followed by peeling or removal of the casing are ready for the packaging, and emulsified sausage is ready for marketing. So this is actually what is fermented food is. Now coming to the fermented fish products. So fermented fish are nothing but they are the fish that are gutted, washed and salted together with dried fruit pulp or tamarind, and the fish are kept covered in brine with the help of mats and are fermented for 2 to 4 months. So there are so many types of fermented fish products, and they are solid, semi-solid, liquid. So solid fermented food products are fermented fish bodies, fermented fish paste. And fermented fish bodies include Myolochi geode, Changran geode, Becassum, Peda, Plera, smelly mandarin fish, Sanyu, drankfish. And fermented fish paste consists of bagung, bagung alamani, fipin, terrasa sauce, ishiru. Semi-solid fermented surimi consists of Funa susi, Sada majerusi, Balau balau, Burong izja, Gajami shika, Shomfu, Peda, Mamisat. And liquid fermented fish sauce consists of Kikap buru, Ika soyu, soyu, Sottasuru, fish sosu, Sikokare, Nample laos, Momon soy sauce, and Nukok bam. So what are the procedures and how we can actually make the fermented fish? So coming to the flow of production process is actually fresh fish is taken as raw material, then the fish is dressed by scaling, gutting, removal of gills. Now this is washed with seawater or well water. Now we are getting the dressed fish. Now the fish is ready for ripening overnight for 10 to 15 hours in a container, or it can be buried in the ground. So dressed and soft fish is ready. Now these dressed and soft fish should be salted, that is application of dry salt, and this is known as salting of the soft fish. The soft and salted fish is now ready for fermentation for 3 to 8 days. Then rinsing again with that fermented fish with seawater, lake water or well water, and we are getting the fermented fish. These fermented fish is again sun-dried for 2 to 4 days, and we are getting the end product, which is actually our fermented fish product. So what are the health benefits of the fermented meat and fish products? So it increases the flavor intensity and prevent the end products from spoiling for relatively long periods of time, include economic practicality, environmental necessity, stand up to extreme temperatures at a better rate than other foods. Some of the country geographical continents do favor having fermented meat and fish products because they stored these type of fish and meat products for a huge long day, because they do have environmental necessity, they do have economic practicality. So these are the main health benefits which are actually concerned fermented meat and fish products. So economically very much feasible and also good for taste. So coming to the last but not the least unit, the probiotic foods, where we will deal with the definition, the types, the microorganism and the health benefits of the probiotic foods. So what is probiotics? So let's just see what are the foods which are actually probiotics. So curd we take, idli we take, pickle we take, dokla we take, buttermilk we take. So all of these foods are familiar to us, and we all are very much taking the probiotic foods. So what is actually probiotic? The probiotics are actually the live microbes which are actually formulated into many different types of fermentation according to the foods, drugs and dietary supplements, and they do include the species of lactobacillus, yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae and bifidobacterium. So they actually live bacteria, they are actually live bacteria that actually promote a good microbial condition of our gut system and promotes a very, very rich health status for gut microbiota. So before knowing to the probiotics, we have to know what is prebiotic. Before knowing probiotics, one have to know the term prebiotic, because prebiotics are the food for the probiotics, and probiotics are the good bacteria that are present within the foods, which are actually the yogurt, the processed milk, the sour cream, the kefir, the tofu, the curd, the idli, the pickles, and so many foods. So prebiotics, which are foods for the probiotics, can be asparagus, can be wheat germs, can be garlic, can be banana. So what are the probiotics and source of the probiotics? So the source of the probiotics are the yogurt cheese, the fermented milk, the fortified milk, the pickles, the kimchi, the kombucha, the chocolate, the granola bars, the poi juices, the powders, the microalgae, the probiotic supplements, sauerkraut, miso soup, tempeh, sourdough bread, ginger beer. So coming to the probiotic microflora, so what are the good bacteria? They are lactobacillus, they are lactococcus, they are propionibacterium, they are streptococcus thermophilus, they are bifidobacterium and the bulgaricus. So these are the probiotic microbiota which are actually adding up some boosting power to your immune system while you are actually consuming these type of foods. So coming to the mechanism of action of the probiotic food products. So what actually the probiotic food do to us is actually the prebiotics affects the intestinal bacteria by increasing the health benefits of the gut system. How it is being done? In association with the normal microflora, the probiotic acts in association and they produce some of the components which actually competes with the pathogens and helps in elimination of the pathogens and makes a barrier to the pathogens and gives a host defense by promoting the gut microflora, the involvement of the gut digestion and improvement of the health status of the normal gut system. So prevalent probiotics in food and food supplementary industry are lactobacillus species, where lactobacillus aerophilus, KZ, fermentum, gasseri, Johnsoni, Lactis, Paracasi, Plantarum, Reuteri, Rhamnosus, Salivarius are involved. In case of the Bifidobacterium species, Bifidum, Bravi, Lactis, Longum. In case of the Streptococcus species, Thermophilus is involved. Yeast and mold Saccharomyces boulardii is involved. Now coming in details of the probiotic benefits. So there are some benefits which I have dealt here with. Some the immunologic benefits and some of the non-immunologic benefits. So what are the immunologic benefits? In response to the immunological balance of the body for maintenance of a homeostasis within our system. So it actually activates the local macrophages to increase antigen presentation to the B lymphocytes and increase secretory immunoglobulin A, which is SIG also known as, and production both locally and systemically. Modulate cytokine profiles, induce hyperresponsiveness to food antigens, and some non-immunologic benefits are as well. It helps in digestion of the foods, compete for the nutrients with pathogens, alter local pH to create an unfavorable local environment for pathogens, produce bacterial cells to inhibit pathogens, scavenge superoxide radicals, stimulate epithelial mucin production, enhance intestinal barrier function, compete for adhesion with pathogens, modify pathogen-derived toxins. So in a nutshell, if probiotics can be divided into three interrelated branches, it helps in immunomodulation, helps in normalized gut microbiota composition, helps in metabolic effects. So immunomodulation means it helps in decreasement of the allergic reaction, where the reduced inflammation is the result and helps in strengthen immunity. Normalized gut microbiota composition is actually improved mucosal immunity, decreased gut disorders and decreased gut infections. Metabolic effect is actually vitamin synthesis, lower cholesterol and improved lactose tolerance. So coming up to this slide, and in relation to, again, probiotic is actually prevent pathogenic microbes. It can be bacteria, it can be viruses, it can be parasites. So bacteria can be salmonella, infection causing salmonella, infection causing E. coli, infection causing Haemophilus Helicobacter pylori, infection causing S. aureus. So these are the bacteria which actually can be pathogenic to us. The viruses, the coronavirus, the influenza virus, the rotavirus, the parasites, the Giardia, the Cryptosporidium, the Emeria and Ascaris. So prevention of all these pathogenic microbes can be done by taking probiotic food supplements. It can also improve the barrier function. It can also be resistant to host GIT action, acid and bile function. It resists the colonization. It helps in strengthening the immune system, host immune system. It produces useful substances such as vitamin, organic acid and neurochemicals, and adheres with gut epithelium, functions in 3 different modulations. One is the enhancement of the barrier function, another one is antimicrobial activity, and third one is the immunomodulation. So what about the enhancement of the barrier function is actually it helps in tight junction protein phosphorylation and restoration of the chloride secretion, and helps in induction of the mucin secretion by maintenance or enhancement of the cytoskeletal and tight junction function. And the immunomodulation and the antimicrobial activity of the probiotic is as a resultant of, it helps in the decreasement of luminal pH, the blocking of the bacterial adherents which are pathogenic to us. It helps in secreting antibacterial substances and defensins. And also, as because there are epithelial dendritic cells along with the monocyte and macrophages and lymphocytes, the probiotics promotes an immunomodulatory effect, which is a very good host immune system boosting mechanism. So coming to the summation of all my lecture, what we actually learned. We have learned different procedures of the fermentation, the types along with the benefits and the fermented foods, why we need the fermented foods, what are the benefits of the fermented foods, how we can have the fermented foods, and we are having the fermented foods with microbes and without microbes, what are the health benefits of the fermented foods with microbes and without the microbes. Next, we have learned about the making of the dahi, the yogurt, the buttermilk, the cheese, along with the usage and microbes involved, along with the health benefits individually of the dahi, individually of the yogurt, the buttermilk and the cheese, and the different types of the cheese which we are actually learning here. Third one, we are knowing grain-based fermented foods and the day-to-day application with process, how we can have the application of the soy-based rice, how we can have the application of the bread, what are the health benefits of the idli, what are the health benefits of the dosha, and why we are actually having these type of foods in our daily routine. What is pickle, what is sauerkraut and how they are fermented, what are the necessity of having pickle and sauerkraut in our food system, fermentation of the meat and fish and the benefits, how they are very much economical, practical, how they help us in environmental necessity. So these are the things. And last but not the least, we have learnt about the different advantages of the probiotics in our daily life, what is the mechanism of action of the probiotics, how the probiotic is being modulated by the prebiotics, how prebiotic and probiotics maintains a healthy balance in our system, how the probiotics guard us and boost up our immune system. So that much we have learned from our module MCBSSEC001, which is actually food fermentation techniques under the WebSU syllabus of UG Sem-III Honors course, having credit 2. Thank you.